All right, let's talk about your code. Think of yourself as a craftsperson, right? And what does every great craftsperson have? The right tools. Today, we're going to pop open your digital toolbox for JavaScript. We're going to look at the data structures that are going to make your code not just work, but work beautifully, faster, cleaner, and way more efficient. So let's get real for a second. I want you to honestly ask yourself this question. Are you still building everything with a hammer? You know what I mean. In our world, the JavaScript world, that hammer is the plain old array or object. And look, they're great. They're super versatile. But if you're reaching for that same hammer for every single job, you're probably ending up with some slow, clunky, and just plain inefficient code. You know, any pro, a carpenter, a chef, a developer, they know their entire toolkit. They know it inside and out. They know exactly when a precision screwdriver beats a power drill. So that's what we're going to do. We're moving beyond the basics. We're going to open up that full JavaScript toolbox so you know exactly which tool to grab for every single job. All right, first things first, let's start with the everyday tools. Think of this as the top tray of your toolbox, the stuff you'll be reaching for constantly. These are the built-in data structures that are really the foundation of pretty much every JavaScript app out there. You probably think you know them, but trust me, there are some crucial details that can make or break your code's performance. And here it is, our trusty hammer, the array. I mean, what would we do without it? It's just a simple, ordered, zero-index list. It's your go-to whenever you need to store a bunch of things, and the order really matters. It's the default choice for like 90% of list-based tasks. But it has a hidden weakness. A pretty nasty one, actually. And this is it, the big one, the array.shift performance pitfall. Just imagine you've got a huge line of people, a queue, right? And you're using an array to manage it. When you use .shift to remove that first person from the line, JavaScript has to do a ton of work behind the scenes. It can't just, poof, make them disappear. It has to tell every single other person in that line to take one step forward. B moves to index 0, C moves to 1, and so on. Now imagine that line has 1,000,000 people. That re-indexing is an insanely expensive operation. It's an ON operation. And in a busy system, this is a recipe for a major bottleneck. Okay, so for years, we all used plain objects for key value stuff. It's what we did. But then along came the ES6 map, and wow, what an upgrade. This is a game changer. The biggest deal? With a map, your keys can be anything. An object, a function, whatever you want, not just strings. Plus, it actually remembers the order you put things in, and it gives you a super handy .size property without any extra work. So if you're building anything dynamic like a cache or a collection where keys aren't simple strings, map is without a doubt the superior tool. Period. Next in our everyday kit is the set. Its whole purpose in life is beautifully simple but so powerful. It only stores unique values. That's it. If you try to add something that's already in there, the set just goes, nope, got that one already, and ignores it. This makes it lightning fast for things like deduplicating a list, or even better, just checking, hey, have I seen this thing before? So let's give these tools a quick performance report card, shall we? Adding or removing from the end of an array with push and pop, A+, absolutely blazing fast. But messing with the start of an array with shift or unshift, oh boy, that gets a C- because of that awful re-indexing we talked about. And what about our new friends map and set? A+ across the board for all their main jobs. Getting, setting, adding, checking. This little table makes it crystal clear, right? Choosing the right tool isn't just about clean code. It's absolutely critical for performance. Okay, so we've got our everyday tools sorted. We've closed that top tray. Now let's dig a little deeper into the toolbox. It's time to open up the specialist kit. These are the pro tools, the ones you don't need every day, but when you do need them, they solve some really specific, really challenging problems that nothing else can. First up is something called a heap, or you might hear it called a priority queue. And yeah, I know the name sounds a little intimidating, but don't let it fool you. Its job is actually pretty straightforward. It keeps the most important thing, the item with the highest or lowest priority, sitting right at the top, ready for you to access instantly. That's all it does. It's a master of efficient prioritization. So when on earth would you actually use a heap? Well, let's say you're building a task scheduler. A heap is perfect because it always knows the very next task to run based on its timestamp. Or here's a great one. You need to find the top 10 trending articles from a massive live stream of data. Instead of trying to sort millions of items, a heap can brilliantly track just the top 10 items without ever needing to store the whole list. It's also a key part of famous algorithms like Dijkstra's for finding the shortest path. It's a seriously powerful problem solver.
All right, our next specialist tool is the tree. Some people call it a prefix tree, and that name gives you a huge clue about what it does. This is another special kind of tree, but this one is completely obsessed with strings. Specifically, it's obsessed with prefixes. The entire structure is designed from the ground up for one mission, to make searching based on the beginning of a word, well, basically instantaneous.
And the absolute killer app for a try? Autocomplete. You know when you start typing in a search bar and suggestions just pop up instantly? That's a try at work. It can find every matching word in the blink of an eye. And the speed is it's phenomenal. Here's why. The search time depends on how long your prefix is, the letters you've typed, not on the millions of words it's searching through. It's an incredible advantage. This is also the secret sauce behind how network routers efficiently figure out where to send internet traffic. Now, check this out. This is where we see the hidden genius of our everyday tools. Remember how we said a map preserves insertion order? Well, you can use that simple feature to build a really powerful and efficient LRU cache that stands for least recently used. It's super clever. When someone accesses an item in your cache, you just delete it and then immediately set it again. This moves it to the end of the line, marking it as freshly used. Then, when your cache gets full and you need to kick something out, you just evict the one at the very beginning of the line, the one that's been sitting there the longest. So elegant and so effective. Okay, time to pull out the heavy machinery. We're talking about the power tools in your toolbox now. This section is especially for those of you working on the back end with Node.js. When you're dealing with files, network requests, and raw binary data, you need this heavy-duty gear. So what's this? This is a buffer. And let's be super clear, this is not for handling text like hello world. This is for the raw stuff, the ones and zeros, the binary data that makes up files, network packets, images, you name it. Anytime you're not dealing with strings and you're down at the byte level in Node, buffer is the exact tool you have to use. And that brings us to streams. Honestly, this is one of the most powerful concepts in all of Node.js. Imagine you have to process a massive 10 gigabyte log file. If you try to read that whole thing into memory at once, well, your server's gonna crash. It's that simple. Streams are the solution. They let you process that huge file piece by piece in small, manageable chunks. You create a pipeline. You read a small chunk, maybe you compress it on the fly, and then you write that compressed chunk to a new file. The whole massive file flows through your system like water through a pipe, without ever flooding your memory. This is the absolute key to building scalable, high-performance backend systems. Whew, we've seen a lot, right? We've gone from the everyday hammers and screwdrivers all the way to the specialized power saws of the JavaScript world. So the big question remains, how do you choose the right one for the job? Let's bring it all home and wrap this up with a super quick guide to help you make that decision. Think of this as your go-to cheat sheet. So if you need a simple ordered list where you can grab things by their index, that's an array. If you need a key-value collection, especially where your keys might be objects or functions, that's a map. You need a list of totally unique items? Easy, that's a set. Need to handle things by priority or find the top 10 of something? That's a job for a heap. Building that slick autocomplete feature? You need a try. And finally, if you're in Node and you're processing big files or network data without blowing up your memory, it's got to be a stream. Seriously, bookmark this slide. And really, this is the whole point. This is the single most important takeaway. Great developers don't just know how to code. They're not just syntax machines. They know how to choose. They have the wisdom to look at a problem, analyze it, and then reach into their toolbox and select the perfect tool that will solve it in the most effective, most efficient way possible. So, I'm going to leave you with a challenge, a question to take back to your own work. As you look at your projects tomorrow, find that one spot. You know the one I'm talking about, that one performance bottleneck, that clunky, awkward piece of code, and ask yourself, could this be fixed simply by choosing a better tool from the toolbox? I bet it can. Thanks for joining me.